Hello, it's been a bit since I've kind of shown something, well, posted something, I guess. So I want to kind of show a shader I'm working on for a friend for their Kirby models. And essentially I'm working on a kind of like, it's basically Unity standard shader, but with some stylized lighting elements and some other stuff. The shader isn't done quite yet, so I have quite a few more things I need to add on to it. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show this cool little shader. Yeah, and so basically for this, for lighting, it looks very similar to Unity Standard Shader, except for calculating the lighting. We use the Ward GSF. I found this website a while ago that's really, really cool for looking for like new techniques for lighting or specular highlights or just really cool stuff. And I asked my friend look at this website and tell me what they like, so we could base like what they like in terms of like lighting or different Fresnel, so not Fresnel, sorry, specular highlights and things like that. So you could like kind of put it into the shader. And so yeah, so for this one we use the ward function, and it kind of makes the lighting look a lot more soft compared to like since it but basically in the equation it blends in see, oh, that's the Kurt, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Basically multiplies the n dot L and the n dot V, and basically you're basically multiplying the essentially the basic light direction calculation thingy by the Fresnel. It kind of creates this softer edge to it. So like on the edges here, see as it goes to like more of a sharper viewing angle, it becomes darker because it's using the Fresnel and multiplying that by the base lighting, which is pretty cool. It kind of creates this more of a softy glow, which is kind of good for fabrics, which a lot of the stuff that this is going to be used on is fabrics, kinda. But yeah, we have metallic like normal, and we have smoothness and all that fun stuff. Metallic isn't going to max because the default texture for this is gray internally in the shader, so you can't set to max metallic. Then we also have a specular tint, as well as if I set this, like a red, and turn on the metallic, I could turn up the specular tint, which will basically tint the specular more red. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see here, but it shows up better on other stuff, and I'm still fixing stuff and tuning stuff and such. Yeah, that's that. And then here we also have like settings for the shadows, like how sharp the shadow is or how smooth it is, like depending on how tuned you want it. It's nice. Then we also have some other settings as well for baked lighting, so the sample difference and sample bias. This is basically used like if I go here and turn off all lights, and I go and let's just change the skybox to something a little bit more contrasty, I think is the right word, concrete. This is basically for deciding, since it's basically the shader for the baked lighting, it basically samples the brightest area of the lighting and then the darkest area, then it blends those two together. And this basically says, do I want the lighting for the baked lighting to be more towards the bright end or more towards the dark end? And then the other one, the sample difference, is basically the difference between the brightest part and the darkest point. So as I turn this up, you can see that it becomes brighter and darker here, and as I turn it down, it becomes more and more flat shaded. It's pretty cool, and basically makes lighting a lot more dynamic tune-wise. Like if I go back to the windows, like if you look right now, there's a big difference between the light and the dark side. If I go back to Windows and set this back to the normal skybox, you'll see that that difference is very small now compared to other toon shaders where you just always have a shadow that's always the same level of brightness all the time. It kind of just makes more of a more realistically lit toon shader, which is kind of nice. Yeah, and this also, of course, has like fallback reflections as well. So I go into here and get fallback cube map. I don't know, let's grab this one, for example. Actually, this one's kind of a fun one. I like this one. And we go to Windows, Rendering, Lighting, and turn off to Custom. And then we have our, oh, it's actually not set up correctly. Give me 1 second. There we go. Come on, Unity, you can do it. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And yeah, and so basically for this, it'll actually multiply the fallback cube map by the lighting in the scene, so it better blends in. So if I turn on a point light, you'll see that that area, actually it's kind of hard to see here. Let's try and get a different cube map on here. That might make things a little bit nicer. Oh, this should be good. Kinda. Ooh, actually, I think this one should be good. Yeah, okay. Come on, Unity. There we go. Cool. And, oh, it's not actually working how I remember it working. Sad. Okay, let's do this. All right, and if I go to Windows, rendering, lighting, set these to cooler, make that black. There we go, now you can see a lot better. So you hear that basically the fallback cube map, it basically adjusts the brightness of it to basically match the lighting so it blends in more. So like, because usually, I don't remember how many other shaders do this. Like, a lot of shaders have fallback cube maps. It's very nice whenever a world doesn't have a cube map and you still want to have some nice reflections. However, I don't know if they blend them in with the lighting, so it kind of stays more consistent with the world, makes them actually match the lighting better. Um, but yeah, the shader does it, and it makes it look a lot nicer instead of it being, I don't know, not quite matching. But yeah, that is that. And I'm going to go back here, turn back on the directional light. There we go. Cool. And yeah, so like the shaders mean, it's just a model I'm using for testing. They've given me to work with for testing the shader out and such. And yeah, and I see like the fabrics look nice and soft. It looks really, really great in Worlds on VR chat, which is really cool. But yeah, there's also some other stuff in here like Fresnel emission, just Fresnel, but emissive or emission. Um, yeah, it is pretty simple. It's just like, I don't know, so turn it white, set it to additive, and then increase the intensity. Oh, this is for the crown. Oops. But yeah, you can see it up here. Yeah, it's very cool. I should set this to subtractive or multiply because it's like a red or something. It's pretty cool. And I also add in some other things like some noise settings for adding in some noise and some other funky stuff as well. Um, but yeah, oh yeah, there's also indirect specular highlights. This basically just generates specular highlights based upon the direction of the light probes. So you have specular highlights even in baked lighting. You can see those pop up. So if I turn off the directional light, we still have specular highlights, even though there are no lights in the scene. So if I turn those off, they're gone. It's just to make things look a little bit more shiny, even in baked lighting, make things pop a little bit more. It's pretty cool. I like it. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. Sorry for my voice being basically dead. Been talking very much this week. But yeah, I don't know, that's kind of what I've been up to. And yee, that's basically this.